Hello, welcome to Teach Me Maths. My name is Jonathan Hicks and today we're conversing between top-heavy fractions and mixed numbers. Alright! Yeah, let me explain what's going on there because there's a couple of funny terms in there. What is a mixed number? Well, a mixed number is when you've got a whole number bit, like 1, and a fraction bit, like a half. Let me draw a quick picture. So we've got a whole pizza, let's say. I could split that into halves. And one extra half as well. So we've got one whole one, that's that bit, and a half, which is that bit. It's a mixed number, or a mixed fraction sometimes, because you're mixing a whole number bit with a fraction bit. But there's another way of writing this, and that's with what's called a top-heavy fraction. Sometimes these are called improper fractions, and that's where the number on the top of the fraction is bigger than the number on the bottom of the fraction. So in this case it turns out that 3 over 2 is the same as 1.5. Don't worry too much about how we get there right now, I'll come on to that in a minute. But the point is that these are two different ways of writing the same fraction. You can perhaps see here the 3 halves. You've got 1, 2, 3 halves. So that's why it's 3 over 2. But in general, the main thing you need to learn here is that you can't do maths on mixed numbers. So if you're ever given a mixed number as a question and you need to do something with it in maths like add or subtract to another fraction, then you need to convert it into a top-heavy fraction first. The various operations we learn in terms of what the things you do when you're multiplying or dividing or adding or subtracting, they don't work on mixed numbers. So if you've ever got a mixed number, you need to convert it into a top-heavy fraction first. We always prefer top-heavy fractions in maths because maths works on those things. So you never have to leave your answer as a mixed number. Unless the question specifically tells you to do so, you can always leave your answer as a top-heavy fraction in maths and it's absolutely fine. We prefer 3 over 2 to 1.5. So why do we have mixed numbers at all? Why don't we just do everything in terms of top-heavy fractions? Well, the problem is that people in real life don't tend to understand what top-heavy fractions mean. Let me give you an example. Imagine you had a pizza party and the following morning you're in the kitchen making coffee, your friend comes down and he's like, oh, how much pizza did we have left over from the party last night? And you look in the fridge and you say to him, oh, we've got 3 over 2 pizzas left. He'd be looking at you like you've gone mad. What does 3 over 2 mean? If you said, well, there's 1.5 pizzas left, that would make a bit more sense. So people understand mixed numbers. They don't understand top-heavy fractions generally. But in maths, that's what we like. We want top-heavy fractions. We don't want mixed numbers. So that's why we need to convert between the two. If you're going to do anything with it, convert it into a top-heavy fraction. If somebody needs to understand it, convert it back to a mixed number. So let me show you how. We'll take a couple of different examples. So let's start with 2.25. So this is a mixed number. Imagine you've got to do something with it in maths, like multiply it by another fraction. We need to convert this into a top-heavy fraction. So let me show you what's going on here. 2.25, we're working in quarters. The fraction on the end is always the kind of fraction you're dealing with. So I'm going to have 2 whole ones, which I'm going to split into quarters, because that's the kind of fraction we're working in. And I've got 1/4 left over on the side. There it is. The top-heavy fraction is just how many quarters you've got altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is 9 quarters. So if you write that as a top-heavy fraction, it would be 9 over 4. You can say 9 over 4 or you can say 9 quarters, either's fine. The quick way to do that without having to draw the picture and count them all is to simply do 2 times the number on the bottom. So 2 times 4 gives you 8, and then you add the number on the top, which gives you 9. So again, 2 4s are 8, plus 1 gives you 9, and the number on the bottom, the kind of fraction that you're working with, never changes. If it starts off in quarters, you've got to finish off with quarters as well. So again, you times this by the bottom and add the top to get that one. 2 4s are 8 plus 1 gives you 9. The number on the bottom never changes. So that's how you convert from a mixed number to a top-heavy fraction. If you think about it, what's actually going on there is that each of these whole ones is going to give you 4 quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So each of these whole ones, you're timesing it by the 4 because you're going to get 4 from that one and 4 from that one. You've got 2 4s. So that gives you 8, and then you add the extra quarter on the end to give you 9 quarters. So that's why it works, but it's just 2 times the 4 plus the 1 the number on the bottom never changes. Let's do another example. I won't bother drawing the picture this time. So if we have 5 and 6/7, so to convert to a top-heavy fraction, you multiply the 5 by the number on the bottom, 5 7s are 35, and then add the number on the top. That's going to give you 41, and the number on the bottom never changes. So as a top-heavy fraction, 5 and 6/7 would be 41/7. So that's converting from mixed numbers to top-heavy fractions. Let's go the other way. Leave those there perhaps. So 10/3, 10/3. Again, it's important to spot the number on the bottom. That's the kind of fraction you're dealing with. So if we wanted to convert that into a mixed number, so you've got a whole number bit and a fraction at the side, let me draw the picture first so you can see what's going on. Every whole one will be made up of 3/3. So if I split this into thirds, that would be 3 of them. And I've got 10/3 altogether, so I'm going to have more than one whole one. So let's draw another whole one. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6/3, but I need 10. So let's draw another one. Now we've got 3, 6, 9/3, but again I need 10/3, so I need one extra third. So if I try and draw that, yeah, there we go. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10/3. 10/3. And now from the picture, hopefully you can see, I've got 3 whole ones and 1/3 left over. So as a mixed number, it's 3 and 1/3. So that's why these two things are the same. The quick way of doing that is to say, how many times does 3 go into 10? It goes 3 times, and there's 1 left over, which goes there. The number on the bottom never changes. The kind of fraction you're dealing with never changes. So again, how many times does 3 go into 10? Goes in 3 times, with 1 remainder, the remainder goes there, the number on the bottom never changes. Again, the reason why that works is, every 3 that you can fit into a 10 gives you another whole one. That's 1 set of 3, 1 whole one. 2 sets of 3, 3 sets of 3 gives you 3 whole ones. So because 3 fits into 10 3 times, you get 3 whole ones. And whatever the remainder is, whatever the extra bit on the end is, that's how many extra thirds you've got at the end. So let's try one more example. We'll do 27/6. So again, you simply divide the top by the bottom. How many times does 6 fit into 27? Well, 4 6s will give you 24. So you're going to get 4 whole ones out of that. And the remainder from 24 up to 27 is going to be 3. So you're going to have 3 6ths left over. The number on the bottom never changes. Now you do need to be slightly careful here. Whenever you give a fraction answer in maths, you must always cancel it, even if it's part of a mixed number like this. 3/6 will cancel down. I can divide both of those by 3. So 4 and 3/6 will be the same as 4 and, well, 3 goes into 3 once, 3 goes into 6 twice, so it's actually 4.5. So 27/6 would convert to 4 and 3/6, which cancels or simplifies down to 4.5. So again, just to reiterate, if you're going from mixed numbers to top-heavy fractions, 5 times is 7, so you multiply the number on the bottom and then add the 1 on the top. 5 7s are 35 plus 6 gives you 41. Number on the bottom never changes. If you're going the other way, you divide the top by the bottom. 6 into 27 go 4 times, remainder 3. The number on the bottom never changes. And as always with fractions, cancel whenever you can. My name is Jonathan Hicks and you're watching Teach Me Maths.